Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Stone Coyote Studios. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. See Jiraiya there? That little blue dart frog? Yeah, he's cool, right? Well, his habitat's gotten a little cruddy and wasn't very big in the first place, so I've decided we're going to build an upgrade. And just to give a little sneak peek, here's the tank that I'm going to be setting up. It's a Exoterra Mini Tall. It's a pretty decent looking little tank, has a solid latch. It's the old style with the dual screen ceiling, top, whatever you call it. But I think that's pretty groovy. I also got a little glass panel I can put there if the humidity gets a little too low in there. So we're gonna be building this up. I'm gonna do a classic drainage layer, a little bit of soil, a little bit of moss, some decor. And we'll see how that goes. It's my first video build, so we'll check that out together, alright? Over here on the little workbench, we have a few things set up. We have this cool little Exoterra Mini Tall tank. Has opening doors. It's got a bit of a loud release, but it's solid. Alright. Oh wait, the doors are still taped together, but they open up good. So, it's got these little flippin' removable tops here. Just turn them all to the out, and you can pull the top up. That's actually really handy. And another really cool thing here is in the back. It's got these little vents you can open up, and you can put your tubing and your probes and all that fun stuff through there. But you can slide it perfectly closed. Good solid mesh screen top. Glass seems alright, and the foam background is actually pretty substantial and decent. Okay, as well as that from Josh's Frogs. Got it on a discount. It was a pretty good deal. We have their drainage layer, which is going to go on the bottom of the tank to catch any water. We have some bio bedding, because this is going to be a bioactive tank. And we have some moss, which acts as a sort of filter between the barrier, the drainage layer, and the bedding. I also have a little bit of extra moss over here that I picked up previously. There's some tools here that you're probably going to want. Rubber gloves. This stuff is glass cleaner and habitat cleaner, so you can pretty much spray everything down with it and make it all good and safe. We got a little ice cream scoop that's good for mixing around soil and stuff. Scissors, because this is going to come with straps and stuff that you'll need to cut. You're going to want at least one thermometer, hygrometer. This is for a dart frog, so there's not going to be a huge temperature variance, but it's good to have at least one, obviously. And twist ties and other things. So, this video series is going to cover the building of the tank, setting it up as a bioactive tank, putting some plants in the tank to really bring that bioactive factor up. And it's always good to have live plants. Looks nice. Keeps the animals happy. Keeps the bugs happy. And then we're going to possibly set up a water feature. That little foam background looks like it would channel water pretty darn good. If I brought some out of the top somewhere. So, maybe we'll figure something like that out, right? That would be cool. So I'm going to set stuff up off camera. You don't need to see me struggling to open bags and having moss explode on me, stuff like that, That's all boring. And I'll start filming after all that's there, and we'll clean up the tank and we'll set up the false bottom, the drainage layer. A bit of an addendum for y'all here. I've remembered a couple of things that you're going to need that I didn't have before. You're probably going to want a spray bottle. It's just going to be a lot easier to mist things down as we're working. And you might want a little mixing bowl. Well, that's a big mixing bowl. But I used that to mix the clay for my Leo habitat. As seen here. You mostly see soil. But below the soil is actually a clay layer. You can see it poking up back there. And it's not a very common thing to do, But I even made a mountain out of the stuff, you know? There's rocks piled on top of it, but there's a whole little cave there made of clay. And it's actually a pretty cool thing to use for a dry habitat creature. But anyways... Whoa, did things really get blurry there for a second? Far out. Anyways, here's the basic process of what we're gonna do. And I want to say right now, if this is your first Dart Frog tank build, welcome, and you're gonna have fun. Welcome to the hobby. It's a really cool hobby. You can probably use this kind of build for a few other things too. But that's not what I have, so here we are. So we're gonna take the tank, we're gonna clean it out, fill it with false bottom, put the substrate barrier, put some moss, put all the soily bits. And that will be the first part of our task. It's gonna be a little loud. The camera angles are probably gonna be terrible. But I hope we have fun doing it, and I hope you learn something. So give me just a moment to do a little bit more prep, and we'll get going. Now let's see if this angle works, right? So you're definitely going to want to clean your tank up. You know, it doesn't matter where you got it from. It's probably got some nasty stuff going on in there, right? So I'm going to open up my doors, and first of all, search the bottom for any crud that's come off of the cylinder. Anything like that. Any debris or anything that accumulated. This is a pretty clean tank. Shipped well and everything. Good job, Josh's Frogs. Okay. So, locate. So, once you've located the spray, go ahead, give a little misting to a couple areas at a time so it doesn't dry out on you. Paper towels, anything lint-free will work, obviously. It's just cleaning, it's not rocket science. Now, this here spray is supposed to be able to work on just about everything in a habitat. Let's see what it does with this foam. Yeah, seems fine. Could be worse, right? So, once you've given that a little spritz, it's time for the next step. That next step being our drainage layer. Alright, cool. Keep adding, straightening out, doing the thing. Till you have about 1.5 inches. Got this thing I'm gonna try, so bear with me while I sort of arrange this. There we go. And next we do the substrate barrier. What this does is it's just a thin little sheet of cloth which you stick in here. Try and get it all get down there. This is always a fun part of the process, to try and figure out the best origami to fit your tank. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be the entire perimeter. And we will weigh this down with things and stuff. Don't worry too much about it popping over there. But this way all your soil and stuff doesn't get down into the rocks. Now, we have another step coming up after I take a quick breath of fresh air and some water and stuff. Check on the other critters. But after all that's taken care of, we're going to do a moss layer. And I'll teach you about that. Alright, next up is that moss layer. So, just open up the moss. Josh's Frog sells it in a neat little Ziploc. That's handy. And ideally, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to wet this. That's why we have the spritzer, but watch. Oh yeah, check this out. Check it out. Check it out. So, just gotta do this. Spritz it in there a bit, right? If I remember what I've seen. The little tricks you pick up from other people's videos. I wish I remembered who I picked this up from. Might have been the Josh's Frogs official channel thing. Oh, I've got leaves somewhere too. We're going to use leaves. I think they're magnolia leaves. Make this whole drainage layer filter screen thing going on. We don't need as much of it down here because I'm doing a thing, remember? Don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll find out. Try and sort of loosen up the moss and stick it where the barrier is weak, as it were. Don't want your soil crossing over, you know. So, once you pretty much got your moss applied, try and sort of tamp it down, compress it back. And work it in there. Alright, just like that. And there's our funky, organic sort of filter layer, right? Alright, let's check out this Josh's Frogs bio bedding. Big old bag. And it's gonna take its own word for it. It says to mix it up thoroughly. So, I'm gonna do that. We all take a break. And this is where the big green bowl comes in. You can try mixing it in a bag. I sure did. Didn't work out very well for me. Nothing in this mix that'll hurt you. Get in and mix it up. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's like big old bits of charcoal. There's like peat moss. I don't know. There might even be springtails in here. Who knows? It's a really good mix, though. Holds moisture pretty well, but it doesn't clump. Good job, Josh's frogs. Nice. Other than their shipping costs, I've had no issues with Josh's frogs whatsoever. They ship quickly. Everything has gotten here securely. So, I mean, the costs do have a reason. Oh, you're too big. Run it in by hand. Remember, we're growing plants in this. So, we want a bit of depth, right? I like a bit of clay. A bit of clay won't hurt anything, it's just clay. And give it a little press down. Fair amount of soil mix here. Alright. Really press it down though. Not so tight that water can't permeate. But if you're growing plants in here, you're gonna want a little extra room for them. And if you've got a dart frog, you should probably be growing some plants for them. Don't quite know what plants I'm gonna put yet. See what the local places have going on. Seems like that's about our upper limit for that part of it. I might have put a little bit too much of a drainage layer. We'll see what the plants think, right? And the rest of this can go into someone else's habitat. Leopard gecko's been digging lately. She appreciate this. Alright, so that's about all we have for today. Gonna get the moisture up on that soil. Make sure that I really should have tested it that it's watertight, but what can you do, right? And I'll see if there's any mold or any of that kind of problems, but I think the next step will be to find some plants to put in it. Catch y'all later.